first thing I want to show you guys is, of course, the dog is barking right now. First thing I want to show you guys is um, the Miller transportation stuff. So I sent this out to everybody who uh, filled out the form that they wanted to take a bus to state that want to be part of the Miller plan, as I'm calling it, with Miller Transportation. And I just told everybody to look at your numbers. Tell me if things have changed, and leave a comment if possible. Some people left comments, some people emailed me. I appreciate it if you've done that. If things didn't change, that's okay. You didn't have to. I mean, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to comment or send me an email. But right now, we've got 20 buses. Like I said in the email, we've got 20 buses, and we are over capacity on those buses. So we'll see what happens when I turn these numbers over to Miller. My hope is that they come back and say, okay, we can accommodate this either by giving you more buses or, giving us motor coaches instead of buses. But yeah, that's my hope. But if that's not the case, then we may look at asking some of these schools that are taking, like this school's taking 60, this school's taking 80, planning on taking 80. You may ask some of those schools that are taking the larger numbers to kind of mix that with private transportation. Okay, so if you're one of these schools that's taking 10 kids or whatever, or 20 kids or whatever, like a smaller number, I'm not really worried about that so much, but it's the bigger numbers that we may have to get down. But just kind of letting you guys know that ahead of time, and I'll know more heading into next week about what Miller has and does not have in terms of buses to give. Now, last year we had 14 buses. Said email, we had 14 buses, and most were not full. So this year I was thinking 20 buses would be definitely okay with it. But a lot of stuff moves around in between here and April, so I think we'll be okay. But I just want to give you an update on that. So with that being said, let's take a look at what I wanted to talk about today, which was from regionals to state. So you guys did your regionals projects virtually, as we've done the last 3 years, and you did it to your 3 or 4 judges through a Google Meet. So if you're brand new to STLP and you've never been to state, you may not know what to expect at all, right? And so with state, I just want to show you real quick. We'll skip to the last slide here. This is what it's going to look like, right? So these are some projects for from last year's state competition on April 20th of last year, where you've got kids set up. This is looks like a middle school, and they created a project, Teachers Free Teachers. So I guess maybe they were creating lesson plans or creating activities that teachers could use for different stuff, kind of like Teachers Pay Teachers, but they call it Teachers Free Teachers. So those are projects. They've got a trifold board there, and on the board they've got like the different categories. So like empowered learner, all the different stuff they're scored with on the rubric. They've got little things on there talking about how they address those technology standards, right? A lot of times you see stuff like, what was our problem? What was our solution? What was the technology used? Who did we, who was our audience? That kind of stuff. So think of it like, Jeff hates this example or analogy, but it's like a technology science fair, honestly, when you walk around this big exhibit floor. Here's another example of a board. This looks like a high school where they did a virtual reality project, and they've got some nice graphics and pictures on their board, and they've got different, you can kind of see there in the background, they've got little information things where they talk about, they may have data on there, which we'll talk about as something that's important to have on your board as well as data. And just one more, while I'm on that, I'll skip to number 4 here. This is Alex Kennedy. From last year. And you see their board there, and they've got a banner that they've created there. And you can get these created at Materials Production. If you're not familiar, Materials Production at CB Young will create banners for you on the cheap too. Your principal knows about that, and your bookkeeper knows about that. They can create these banners for you, and they look great on your table at state. All right, and you'll be given a table at state. So they have this little banner here, Alex Kennedy STLP. It looks great. They've got their board. This is a little bit more advanced than that trifold board, that cardboard board that you're seeing. This is trifold. These look really, really nice. It stated if you can get one of these boards that are like the felt type material, I recommend those boards. They look great at state. You notice here they've got a computer monitor with possibly they create a website, or maybe they've got some flyers or something for their project that they've got on this display. Lots of kids. Sometimes you bring an iPad, sometimes other stuff. Anything you can have to display your project stuff is great. I see there, it's kind of hard to see, but you see a bar graph. You see bar graph on here. So they obviously took data for their project, which again, I'll talk about in a second. So think about colors, think about design. So if you've got that black board, you want to think about, those light colored letters, white letters, yellow letters, orange letters. What's going to look good on a board? Now, it's even better if your school colors can be incorporated into that. So you see a lot of green and yellow here on this Alf Kennedy board, and that's their school colors, right? I think about Ramsey Middle School, orange and blue go really well together. Honestly, every school's colors go really well together because that's why they're your school colors, right? We don't have any schools that are like pink and neon orange in JCPS, and it's because whoever created your school colors was thinking about design. So obviously, when you're putting your board together, think about design. And Stephen, if you could answer any kind of questions that pop up in the chat, that'd be great. Because I can't see that. And then you add your space there. So you kind of see what the exhibit floor looks like on that one. So let's go back to, again, number 1 from Regionals Estate. You're thinking about that project in December. You pitched that project idea to judges, and you said, we're going to start a student tech team, or we're going to help get animals adopted from the Humane Society, or we're going to do X, Y, and Z, right? This is our project idea. Hopefully, if you've not done this, that's okay. You still have time. Maybe hopefully you've sent out a survey to your staff, or a survey to whoever your audience is, whoever you're hoping to help with this project. You've sent out some sort of kind of pre-thing to people. So for example, if you're starting a student tech team, you might send out a survey to your teachers and ask them what kinds of issues do they see most often in their classroom. Is it the smartboard not working? Is it the Chromebooks not working? Is it broken Chromebooks coming in? Is it Chromebooks not coming in charged? What are the kinds of issues that your school is facing, or that these teachers are facing, right? And so then you've got your before data, right? So then you implement that student tech team, all right? And as you're going and you're doing that student tech team, maybe the data you're taking is you've got a form, and Miss Smith down the hall, who's a 3rd grade teacher, can submit to that form, hey, I need my Chromebooks charged on Wednesday the 14th. Can you send your student tech team here? And so the data during is Miss Smith reached out to us 15 times in the month of December and also January. And Miss Jones down the hall, she reached out to us, 4 times, that kind of stuff. So that's your during data. And then maybe after you survey your teachers again, was this helpful? What benefit was this student tech team? Maybe Miss Jones could say, hey, this is really beneficial to have kids come to my room and help charge these Chromebooks, or help me with my smartboard issues. So you're taking quantitative and qualitative data, so numbers, and also, to get a soundbite from Miss Jones or Miss Smith saying, hey, it was your tech team, they really did great work this year, and they helped me out a lot by doing X. Looks really good on those boards that I just showed you. So think about taking data. Google Forms is a really easy way to do that. Anything to add there, Stephen?
No, I think that was a great point. With JCPS, with map testing and everything, we got to look at the data. And STLP, that is one of the things they look at. And it's probably one of the things I think that is most frequently missed. Like, a lot of people have great ideas and they do cool things, but if you can somehow get some data, and Google Forms is a great way to do that, even if it's just surveying the teachers or the students in the building to say what impact that STLP project had.
Right. All right. So number 2, talk to an expert. So someone from the community. So if you're working with the Humane Society, obviously, you might talk to somebody from the Humane Society, and you would say in your project or in your pitch, or your presentation at state, we talked to Samuel Smith from the Humane Society, and he told us X, Y, and Z. Or we talked to, if your project is women in STEM, like the Olmsted South project was a few years ago, we talked to Clarissa Bell at Humana, and she came to our school and talked to our sixth graders about what she does for Humana. Or even if it's a student tech team, we talked to Stephen Durham, who's a digital innovation lead for JCPS, we worked with him to help develop our plan for student tech team. Or maybe like somebody's dad. Honestly, the best thing is like maybe somebody's dad. It's always somebody's dad is a guy in IT, or somebody's dad is a guy in that works for something. So we talked to Mr. Smith, who's a I don't know, he builds computers. I don't know, that kind of thing. So talk to an expert, somebody from the community. It could be somebody from the JCPS community. It could be somebody from the community at large. And name names when you say your project, when you go to present your project at state. Put that person's name on the board. Now, obviously, ask them if it's okay to put their name on the board. But put their name on the board and name drop them in your presentation.
3. Yeah, and I know a lot of our STLP this year, we're doing student tech teams, and it's kind of hard to get that impact outside of the school itself. But if they reach out to me or have a video they want to share with me, then that gets them more on a district stage where other schools can see their work and they're collaborating outside their school. And I'm happy to help with that.
Yep. Great point, Stephen. 3, read feedback. So, you got feedback from the regionals pitches. That feedback hopefully was valuable, that you got from judges. And think of it kind of like it was your pilot episode of like a series, right? A television series. So this is your pilot episode. What were the notes on that episode? How can we make this into a series going forward? How can we make this thing go further? And then focus on the easy adjustments first, whether it's, something like maybe they just talked about, is there a way to take data? A lot of people I know that's a big feedback thing for regionals is how do you know? How do you know your school needs this? Well, how do we know school needs this? If we send a Google form to our teachers and they said, these are our issues, that's how we know our school needs this, right? So that's an easy one, right? The easy one is to do a pre-survey or survey of your teachers or your students or whoever your audience is for this, or your target is for this, and send out that Google form, right? So focus on the easy stuff first. And then anything else in that, Stephen?
No, I think you covered that. Yes. Yeah. Use that feedback. And I don't see why there'd be any problem with even including that feedback as part of your trifold or having the students discuss it. Like, we took the feedback and we addressed it and improved.
Yeah. And we can always give you feedback too. If you don't feel like the judges at regionals gave you good feedback, we can watch your presentation as well and give you feedback, and help you with that as well. So if it's not helpful, it's the feedback that you got, let me know and we can be helpful. And again, back to number 4, think about design, which we already talked about, your board. Notice that there are a lot of projects here on this day. This is April 20th last year. It's April 19th this year. A lot of projects on that floor. It's not on here. It should be number 5, honestly, is make sure your kids can talk loudly, because it's going to be very loud in this space that we've got at Rupp Arena to present these projects. And make sure you've got kids that can talk loudly and speak clearly, right? So these judges can hear.
Yeah, and going along with that, I put it in the chat, but I wanted to make sure we had it on the recording. If you are sharing any video that you want the judges to be able to hear, I would recommend, there'll be 4 judges. So if you could set it up where 4, clean headphones would be great. But really, if you could get like an external Bluetooth speaker. So for example, if you're showing something that's on an iPad, that iPad speaker isn't going to be loud enough. So if you can Bluetooth it to an external speaker that you can turn up, that should work. So you want to make sure the judges are able to hear any video you have that you want to share.
Yep. That's a good point. All right. Anything else for my people? I see I've got several people that joined while I was here. Troy, that's interesting. We were just talking about you before this meeting started, about you being Travis's brother. So from anybody else that went last year?
He's my brother.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
I'm not his brother. He's my brother. No.
Same thing. So anybody that went last year, any tips that you might have for people that have not gone to state or that are newer to state? Maybe they went last year. And Mary's kids always do really well at state. They were top 10 last year again, or I believe they're top 10 again last year. In the past 2 years, I think they've been top 10, maybe even more than that, honestly. But Mary's kids always do really well at state. Going once, twice. All right.
Good wait time, Russ.
Yes.
There is a question. Is there any way students should or could practice?
Yeah, so a great way to practice is to go to your So this is the thing that gets recommended all the time, is to go to the cafeteria, set your kids up in the cafeteria at school, and set them up with a table, and they just practice giving their pitch in that cafeteria, giving their presentation in that cafeteria, right? Because it's going to be loud in that cafeteria. There are going to be lots of things going on, and then people come by at that cafeteria. Maybe you send your AIC or a resource teacher or somebody by there to try to listen to the kids pitch a presentation in that noisy cafeteria. So a lot of people like to practice that way.
And I don't think I've ever heard a judge say, yeah, that kid was too loud. I always tell my kids, turn it up to 10, act like you're at a loud concert, no one can hear you, because yep, it is noisy, but fun.
Yeah. And William also asked, is there a way can schools record video testimonials of project impacts and show them during STLP? Yeah, so you can absolutely record. So if you've got Miss Jones in talking about how impactful that student tech team was in her classroom, you can record a video of that for sure, and you can play that to judges. Remember, you've only got 10 minutes though, so if Miss Jones is long-winded, maybe it's better to have that quote up there on the board. So you can absolutely do that, but you can also you could put like a QR code or a one sheet and send it with the judges as they leave. Say, hey, here's just one more thing about our project, and you send them with a one sheet as they're leaving you. You might have those quotes on there as well.
Carrie Massey shared, make sure presenters are not involved in live events. The schedule likely will challenge having kids having more than one responsibility. So yeah, you can sign your kids up for live challenges, but you want to make sure that you have that good window for the STLP project judging.
That's a great idea, actually, William. He says it would be great to have one school present to another virtually. So yeah, that may be something we look at doing actually in March. We could have schools set up to present to each other and give each other feedback prior to competition, March or April. That's an excellent idea, actually. So remind me of that tomorrow, William, and I'll write that down and kind of work on that as a thing that we can do. That's a great idea. If there's nothing else on regionals to state, I do want to remind you that DPOJs are due January 18th. DPOJs are due January 18th. And I've heard from a lot of you guys that are submitting, which is great. And I sent out that list. Hopefully you saw in the email. If not, check the 3 things. If you need a judge, we can provide a judge. Okay. You don't have to be the judge unless you really want to. You can be the judge if you want to. But we can provide judges for you from the district. And so we've got people on there who are EAs, executive administrators. We don't have Marty Polio on there, but we got pretty much everybody else. All right. So those people can be judges for you. All right. So if you need a judge, please submit to that form, and I will get you a judge. We've got plenty of people on that list. So no worries about that. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today. Do we need to provide 2 judges if we have a certain number? No, I can provide you 2 judges, Mary. You just let me know you need 2 judges, and by submitting to that form, and I will allocate 2 judges to you. But yes, if you want to be if you have over 8 products that you're submitting, you need 2 judges. Yes, 8 and under, then just 1.
But if it's a challenge to get 2 judges, or you don't want to try, just let us know. We have people ready to judge. IT3 team is ready to help out.
Yep. All righty. Excellent. All right, guys, that's all I have today. Thank you for. Do we need to re-request? If you did I send you now, Carrie? Or I don't know if you can. Well, you can probably type it. I think I emailed you, Carrie. If you submitted to the form, I emailed you and said that judges were allocated. If not, resubmit or submit again. But I believe everybody who submitted the form should have got an email from me that said that judges have been allocated on their behalf. All right. Thanks, guys.